The champagne flute shattered against the patio stones like my heart in that instant. Shards glinting under the fairy lights strung across Dad's backyard like fragile stars about to wink out. "You're disgusting, Leonardo. A disgrace to this family." Stepmom's voice sliced through the murmurs of stunned relatives, her palm connecting with my cheek in a crack that echoed louder than the 4th of July fireworks we'd watched just last year. I tasted blood, not from the cut on my lip, but from the metallic tang of betrayal, as Dad stood there, silent as a gravestone, his eyes averted like he could wish me away. That was the night everything I'd buried for years clawed its way to the surface, raw and unyielding, under the watchful eyes of aunts, uncles, and cousins who toasted to family unity just an hour before. I'd planned to tell Dad privately, over coffee the next morning, but Emilio had squeezed my hand under the table, his thumb tracing that secret circle we'd invented for "I love you" in crowded rooms. His whisper, "You're brave, Leo. Do it now," had been the spark. And just like that, with a simple "I'm gay, Dad. And I'm happy," the world I'd known imploded. I stumbled back from the slap, the humid July air thick with the scent of grilled burgers and betrayal, my vision blurring not from tears but from the sheer force of it all. Stepmom, Elena, with her perfectly coiffed blonde bob and pearls that screamed old money Midwest, advanced like a storm front, her face twisted in that righteous fury she'd honed over 4 years of rebuilding our family after Mom's death. "After everything your father sacrificed? You spit in his face like this?" The partygoers shifted uneasily, plastic cups forgotten in hands, whispers rippling like wind through cornfields. Aunt Rita clutched her cross necklace. Uncle Mike cleared his throat, looking anywhere but at me. Dad, broad-shouldered, salt and pepper hair, the man who taught me to throw a curveball and fix a carburetor, finally moved. Not toward me, though. He placed a hand on Elena's shoulder, murmuring something low, placating. "Elena, not here." His voice was that same measured tone he'd used when Mom's cancer diagnosis came down, like facts could be negotiated if you just stayed calm enough. But his eyes, when they met mine, weren't calm. They were fractured like the champagne glass. Disappointment, confusion, maybe even shame. I wanted to scream, "This is me, Dad, your son. Not a phase, not a scandal." But the words lodged in my throat, choked by the sting on my skin. Emilio was there in a heartbeat, his arm around my waist, steady as the oak tree in our backyard that Mom and I used to climb. He's Mexican-American, with that easy grin and eyes like polished obsidian, the kind that see through your bullshit without judgment. We'd met 6 months ago at the community college art exhibit in Chicago. Me sketching urban decay, him painting murals of Chicano pride, and from that first awkward, nice lines over lukewarm punch, it was like finding the missing piece to a puzzle I didn't know I was solving. Now, his grip tightened, a silent "I've got you" as Elena spat. "Get him out of here, Richard, before he poisons everyone." The drive back to my tiny apartment in Wrigleyville was a blur of neon signs and rain-slicked streets, Emilio's old Honda rattling like my nerves. He didn't say much at first, just let the radio hum some old Springsteen track about broken highways. When we pulled up to my building, a creaky walk-up with fire escapes that screamed bohemian struggle, he killed the engine and turned to me, his face half-lit by the dashboard glow. "Leo, that wasn't just a slap. That was her fear talking. Yours too, maybe." I laughed, bitter and sharp, rubbing my cheek where the heat had faded to a dull throb. Fear? Try hatred. And Dad, he didn't even defend me. After all these years of pretending, of dating girls I couldn't stand just to keep the peace. Mom had died when I was 14, her letters, those damn letters she'd written in her final months, sealed in a shoebox under my bed, were the only things that kept me sane. She'd suspected, even then. "Be true to your heart, mi amor." One read, in her looping script, but I'd buried them deep, like my feelings, until Emilio came along and made hiding impossible. We climbed the stairs in silence, the kind that weighs heavy but comfortable, like an old quilt. My place was a mess of canvases and takeout boxes, the walls splashed with my sketches. Chicago's L tracks at dawn, Emilio's profile in charcoal. He flicked on the lamp, poured us whiskey from the bottle I'd splurged on after my first gallery showing. Neat because that's how he liked it, with a twist for me. "Talk to me," he said, settling on the sagging couch, pulling me close. His warmth seeped through my shirt, chasing away the chill of the night. So I did. Words tumbled out like they'd been damned too long. The fake smiles at family dinners, the prayers Elena dragged us to at her evangelical church, the way Dad's hugs had grown stiff since her arrival. I thought coming out would free me, I admitted, voice cracking. But it feels like chains snapping back tighter. Emilio listened, his fingers tracing lazy patterns on my knee. Not seductive, just grounding. That's what I loved about him. No rush, no performance, just presence. By dawn, we'd talked ourselves hoarse, the city waking outside with horns and the distant L train rumble. Emilio had to head to his shift at the mural project downtown, painting hope on brick walls for underfunded schools. But he lingered at the door, cupping my face gently, avoiding the bruise. You're not wrong, Leo. You're human. And that family's got cracks wider than Lake Michigan. We'll patch him our way. His kiss was soft, a promise, before he vanished down the stairs. Alone, I pulled out Mom's shoebox, fingers trembling as I untied the ribbon. The letters were yellowed now, scented faintly with her lavender perfume. The top one, dated just weeks before she passed. Dearest Leonardo, if you're reading this after I'm gone, know that love isn't a straight line. It's a wild river, bending where it must. I see it in your eyes, the way you watch the boys on the baseball field with something more than envy. Embrace it, my boy. Your father will come around. He's just scared of losing you like he's losing me. But you're a masterpiece in progress. Te quiero siempre. Tears blurred the ink, but they were cathartic, washing away the residue of Elena's slap. I folded it back, resolve hardening. Dad's party had been his 65th, a milestone he'd insisted on celebrating big, with caterers and a band, Elena orchestrating it all like a general. I'd gone for him, not her. But now I had Emilio, and Mom's words like armor. Little did I know, the real storm was just brewing. The days after the party blurred into a haze of avoidance and small rebellions. Dad called once, left a voicemail that was all clipped apologies. Leo, we need to talk. Elena's upset, but come over Sunday. Brunch. No, I'm proud of you, or I love you no matter what. Just logistics, like I was a faulty engine he could tune up over Eggs Benedict. I deleted it, blocked the guilt gnawing at my ribs, and threw myself into work at the graphic design firm. Tweaking logos for craft breweries, anything to drown out the echo of that slap. Emilio became my anchor, his texts pinging like lifelines. Morning artist. Coffee run after my shift? Or saw a pigeon that looks just like your grumpy uncle. Sketch it. We'd steal moments in the city that never sleeps. Wandering Millennium Park, hands brushing as we fed the bean to tourists, or hunkering down in his Logan Square apartment, cooking tamales from his abuela's recipe, while he told stories of growing up queer in a big Catholic family that, miracle of miracles, embraced him after the initial shock. Papa cried. He'd say, chopping onions with theatrical flair. But then he hugged me and said, as long as you bring home someone who makes you laugh. You're my laugh, Leo. It was on one of those evenings, 2 weeks post-party, that the first crack in Dad's silence widened. I was at Emilio's, sprawled on his bed sketching the curve of his shoulder as he read poetry. Federico Garcia Lorca, voices like velvet thunder, when my phone buzzed. Not Dad's number, Elena's. The text read, Richard is heartbroken. If you cared about him at all, you'd reconsider this. Phase. Family counseling. Wednesday. Don't make me beg. I stared at it, the words searing like acid. Phase. As if my love for Emilio was a flu I could sweat out. He glanced over, sensing the shift. Bad. I handed him the phone, and his jaw tightened, that protective fire sparking in his eyes. Block her. She's poison ivy. Pretty leaves, but touch it and you itch for weeks. But I couldn't. Not yet. Dad was tangled in her vines, and cutting them might sever him too. Wednesday came like a summons. I drove out to their McMansion in Naperville. Sprawling lawns, 3-car garage, the American dream gift-wrapped in vinyl siding. The counselor was a soft-spoken woman named Dr. Hale, with wire rims and a notepad that didn't judge. Elena sat ramrod straight. Dad slouched beside her like a defeated quarterback. Leonardo, she started, her smile all teeth. We're here to heal. The session was a minefield. Elena monologued about traditional values, quoting Bible verses like ammunition, her eyes drilling into me. God doesn't make mistakes, but choices, those we can correct. Dad nodded along at first, then mumbled, "Son, I just want what's best." Best for who? I wanted to shout, but Dr. Hale steered us gently. "Richard, what do you feel?" He faltered, voice thick. "Proud of the man you're becoming, but scared. Losing your mom. It broke me. This feels like losing you too." That cracked something in me. Not forgiveness, but understanding, the raw ache of his grief mirroring mine. I spoke then, haltingly, about Emilio. His kindness, the way he made me feel seen, not hidden. "It's not a choice, Dad. It's me. And Mom." She knew. Elena's scoff cut like glass. "Your mother was delusional in her pain. Don't drag her ghost into this." The drive home was fury-fueled, rain lashing the windshield like accusations. Emilio met me at the door with takeout pho and a bear hug, listening as I paced, words spilling. She weaponized Mom, like her love was a fairy tale. He pulled me down, his heartbeat steady against mine. "Then write the real story, with me in it." That night, I dreamed of Mom. Not the hospital bed version, but vibrant, laughing in our old kitchen. Her hands flour-dusted from pie crusts. She handed me a letter, sealed with wax, whispering, "Open it when the shadows lengthen." I woke gasping, the shoebox calling from across the room. I hadn't read them all since Emilio. Maybe it was time. The next letter was shorter, urgent. "Leo, if Elena ever tries to dim your light, remember this. Love is the bravest rebellion. I wish I'd told you sooner, but my own secrets. Well, life's too short for closets. Find your Emilio, yes, even if he's not named that yet, and hold on. Dad will see or he won't. But you? Shine, me soul." Secrets? Mom's words hinted at depths I'd never plumbed. She'd been the perfect wife, the PDA mom. But now, doubt flickered. Emilio stirred beside me, mumbling in Spanish, and I tucked the letter away, vowing to unearth more later. Fall crept in with amber leaves and crisp air, Chicago's skyline sharpening against gunmetal skies. Emilio and I grew roots. Weekend trips to the dunes, where we'd hike hand in hand, waves crashing like applause. Quiet nights debating art over vinyl, his head on my lap as I read aloud. But the family rift festered. Dad's texts were sporadic. "Miss you at Thanksgiving prep." Elena's church friends prayed for me. Their pity posts on Facebook like salt in wounds. Then came the betrayal, sharp as Elena's slap but deeper, carving into bone. It was mid-October, the air buzzing with World Series fever. Cubs versus someone, didn't matter. Emilio and I were at a dive bar in Wicker Park, celebrating his murals feature in the Tribune. Beers in hand, laughing over his exaggerated impression of the critic. It's like Pollock met Frida, revolutionary. When my phone lit up, a photo from Aunt Rita. Dad and Elena at a family values rally downtown. Signs screaming, "Protect our children from indoctrination." Dad held one, his face grim but resolute. My stomach plummeted. Emilio saw it, his brow furrowing. "Leo." I bolted outside, the cool air no match for the inferno in my chest. Dialing Dad, voicemail again. "If you're seeing this, know I love you. But Elena, she's right. This world's changing too fast. Come home. We can fix it. Fix it. Like I was broken." Tears hot on my cheeks. I hurled the phone into the gutter, screen cracking on the curb. Emilio found me there, slumped against brick, and without a word, wrapped me in his jacket, hailing a cab. Back at his place, he didn't pry, just brewed tea, strong and sweet, and held me as sobs racked my frame. "He chose her," I whispered, "over me." "No," Emilio said fiercely, tilting my chin. "He chose fear. But you're choosing love. That's the win." We stayed like that till dawn, his stories of his own family's rocky road. Protests, tears, eventual pride parades together, reminding me that healing wasn't linear. But the wound bled fresh. Winter hit Chicago like a grudge, snow piling high and winds howling off the lake, mirroring the storm in my soul. Dad's rally photo went viral in our family group chat. Cousins divided, some hearts emoji, others crickets. I unfriended them all, built a fortress of silence. Work suffered. My designs turned jagged, all sharp angles and shadowed forms. Emilio noticed, dragging me to therapy, his idea gentle insistence. Dr. Patel, with her warm chai and no-nonsense vibe, helped unpack the grief. Not just Dad's rejection, but Mom's absence amplified. "You're mourning 2 losses," she said one sleety afternoon, tissues within reach. "The father you hoped for, and the mother who can't intervene." I nodded, throat tight. After sessions, Emilio waited with hot cocoa from the corner cart, steam curling like question marks. "Progress?" he'd ask, bumping my shoulder. Mountains moved. I'd quip, and we'd laugh, fragile but real. But cracks showed. Emilio's patience frayed under my moods. Nights I'd stare at the ceiling, replaying Dad's voicemail like a bad loop. "Talk to me, Leo," he'd plead, but I'd snap. "What's to say? I'm the family pariah." Arguments flared, small at first. Forgotten anniversaries, his late nights painting. One blizzard-bound evening, it boiled over. "You're shutting me out," he yelled, snow gusting through the cracked window. "Like your dad did to you. Don't make me the villain here." His words landed like punches, true and bruising. I stormed out into the whiteout, boots crunching untouched drifts, lungs burning. Wandered for hours, ending up at Mom's grave in Oak Woods Cemetery. Marble headstone etched beloved wife, devoted mother. Collapsed there, whispering apologies to the wind. "I miss you. How do I fix this without breaking?" Phone dead. I trudged to a payphone, relic of another era, and called Emilio Collect. He answered on the first ring, voice ragged. "Leo? Where? I'm sorry." I cut in, shivering. "You're not the villain. You're my hero." He was there in 20 minutes, cab idling, wrapping me in blankets. "Never do that again," he murmured, driving us home. That night we rebuilt. Slow dances to Coltrane, confessions over dawn pancakes. "I love you," I said, first time without fear. "Te amo más, Eriplaid," ice shining. Spring thawed the ice literally and not. Daffodils pushed through soil like stubborn hope, and I started reading Mom's letters systematically. One a week, like communion. They were a mosaic. Recipes scrawled with love notes, advice on heartbreak. Boys will come and go, but your heart's compass points true, and hints of her own hidden life. One, from her honeymoon. Richard is steady, but oh, the wild ones I left behind in college. Art school flings. Girls with paint-streaked hands and dreams bigger than Texas. If you ever feel that pull, follow it. No regrets. Mom was by. The revelation hit like sunlight after storm, validating, freeing. I shared it with Emilio over a picnic in Grant Park, sandwiches soggy from lake spray. "She gets it," I said, head on his chest. "Us." He grinned, feeding me a grape. Knew she raised a legend. Emboldened, I reached out to Dad. A neutral email. "Miss our garage tinkering. Coffee? Neutral ground." He replied quick. "Yes. Saturday. Elena doesn't know." Hope flickered, wary but warm. The diner was a time capsule, red vinyl booths, jukebox crooning Dylan. Dad arrived early, looking older, lines etched deeper. We ordered black coffee, steam rising like unspoken words. "Son," he started, stirring sugar endlessly. "That rally,"
Elena Pushed,
said it was for the community. I went along. His eyes met mine, raw. "Biggest mistake." I leaned in, pulse thundering. "Why, Dad? Because it hurt me?" He nodded, slow. "And it wasn't me. Your mom. She taught me love's not conditional. After she died, Elena filled the quiet. But you're her echo." Tears welled. He swiped them away, gruff. "Proud of you, Leo. And this Emilio. Tell me about him." We talked for hours. Emilio's murals, our trips, the way he made me laugh till my sides ached. Dad chuckled, genuine, the sound unlocking something long frozen. "Bring him to dinner. Just us 3.
Elena?
"Working on it," he said, evasive. Driving home, windows down, wind whipping my hair, I called Emilio. "Dinner with Dad. Soon." His whoop echoed through the speaker, joy infectious. But betrayal's shadow lingered. Elena found out how, I don't know, and the counterstrike came swift. A package arrived at my door. Mom's letters, shredded, confetti in a manila envelope, note attached in her elegant script. Some ghosts should stay buried. For Richard's sake. Rage pure and volcanic surged. I pieced them frantically. Te quiero. Embrace it. Wild river, ink smears mocking me. Emilio found me on the floor, sobbing over fragments. That witch, he growled. But I shook my head.
No.
This ends now. The confrontation brewed like a summer squall. All humid tension and distant thunder. I rallied allies. Aunt Rita, who'd texted secret support. Even Uncle Mike, grumbling about Elena's holier-than-thou crap. But the core was Dad. Could he stand firm? Emilio and I prepped like generals. Him practicing polite Spanish phrases. Me rehearsing Mom's words like scripture. Dinner was set for a sticky August evening. Their backyard neutral ground. String lights up, but no champagne flutes in sight. Elena had a headache, Dad said via text, but her absence screamed presence. We arrived arms full. Emilio's tres leches cake. My sketch of the three of us from old photos. Mom's smile bridging gaps. Dad enveloped us in hugs, awkward but earnest, clapping Emilio's back. Heard you're fixing up those school walls. Noble work. Emilio beamed, charm dialed high. Just giving kids colors they deserve, sir. Over grilled corn and ribs, Dad's specialty. The talk flowed easy at first. White Sox woes, Emilio's abuela's tamale empire. Laughter bubbled, tentative, like first raindrops. Then Elena swept in, unannounced, a vision in white linen, tray of reconciliation pie in hand. Her smile was saccharine, eyes serpents.
Surprise.
Couldn't miss family night. Dad stiffened. I gripped Emilio's knee under the table. She set the pie down, cooing over it. Blueberry, Richard's favorite. Before perching like a queen. And you must be the artist. Emilio extended a hand, steady.
Emilio Vasquez.
Pleasure. She ignored it, turning to me. Leonardo, about those letters. Such a tragedy. The maid must have mistaken them for trash. Lie bald and brazen. Dad's fork paused midair. Maid, I echoed, voice steel. Or you, Elena? Shredding Mom's words because they didn't fit your narrative. Her laugh tinkled, forced. Darling, you're imagining things. Grief does that. Emilio's grip tightened, support, not restraint. Dad cleared his throat. Elena, enough. Quiet but edged. She whirled on him. Richard, after all I've done. Holding this family together while you wallowed. Her voice rose, mascaraed eyes flashing. And now, entertaining this? It's unnatural. The word detonated. I surged up, chair scraping. Unnatural? Like love? Mom loved fiercely, women too, she wrote. And she loved me enough to say be true. I thrust the reassembled fragments at her. I taped them, Emilio's steady hands helping overnight. Read it, or burn it, but stop hiding behind Dad. She recoiled, then lunged. Hand raised, echo of that party night. But Dad was faster, catching her wrist. No more, Elena. His voice boomed, the quarterback roar I'd missed. You don't get to slap my son, or shred his mother's legacy. She wrenched free, face crumpling, not fury, but fracture. You choose him? Over me? After I saved you from despair. Dad's eyes softened, sad. You did for a time, but love isn't salvation by force. It's choice. And I choose my boy. Emilio stood then, arm around me, a united front. Senora, with respect. This family's big enough for truth. The backyard fell silent, crickets chirping judgment. Elena's shoulders sagged, the queen dethroned. She fled inside, door slamming like finality. Dad pulled us into a huddle, arms around both.
I'm sorry, Leo.
For the rally, the silence. Won't happen again. Tears streaked his cheeks. Mine too. Emilio clapped his back, murmuring, We're good, sir. All of us. In the aftermath, Elena packed, divorce papers drawn by week's end. She moved to her sister's in Florida. For reflection, Dad said. We didn't rush reconciliation. Healing's a marathon, not a sprint. But letters from her came eventually, apologies halting to Dad first, then me. I was scared of losing control. Forgive? I did in time. Humanistic, Mom would have said. seeing the river bend, not break. Now, 2 years on, autumn paints Chicago gold again. Emilio and I share a loft in Pilsen. Walls alive with our art. His murals bleeding into my sketches. Dad visits Sundays, grilling with stories of Mom's wild college days, which we pry from him over beers. He even joined us at Pride, rainbow pin on his lapel, cheering louder than the floats. Last week, I found a new letter, not Mom's, but from Dad. Leo, your mom was right. You're my masterpiece. Proud doesn't cover it. Love, Dad. Emilio reads it over my shoulder, chin on my head. Told you. Rivers bend. I turn, kissing him soft, the kind that says forever. In this city of big shoulders and bigger hearts, we've carved our path. Not straight, but true. And that's the hook that holds.